The number of apps and web tools that employees use on a regular basis continues to increase. Most departments have about 40 to 60 different digital tools that they use. 71% of employees feel they use so many apps that it makes work more complex, not easier. App fatigue is a very real thing, and it's becoming a cybersecurity problem. The more people get overwhelmed by notifications and passwords, the more likely they are to ignore them. Today, I'm going to be discussing app fatigue and how you can help alleviate it with your employees. Hello, I'm Michael Kinnett, CEO and founder of Eternal Networks. Every Friday at 1 p.m. on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and my personal LinkedIn, I discuss the latest tech and cybersecurity news that might affect you and your business. Unfortunately, this week I'm at a conference, so this broadcast was pre-recorded and I won't be able to answer any questions live like I normally do. But you can always send me or my team any questions that you have on our website. First off, the news. So CISA, they have warned about a critical Ruckus bug that can be used to infect wireless access points that are made by Ruckus. So if you or your organization use Ruckus Wi-Fi in your environment, it's critical, very important that you talk with your IT team about patching that critical bug so that your wireless access point is not infected and potentially used to spread other malware across your organization. Also in the news, Toyota, this is a big one, they announced that car location data of over 2 million customers in the US was exposed for 10 years. Now, that's the headline. That sounds like it was exposed for 10 years. It wasn't exposed for 10 years. 10 years worth of data was exposed. So location data for over 2.2 million US cars were exposed for the period January 2nd, 2012 to April 17th, 2023. Due to a misconfiguration of a publicly exposed database. So some tech put something in wrong, exposing those records to the public. Anybody would be able to log in without a password to access those records. In addition, they also disclosed that video recordings taken from outside of the vehicle were also exposed for the period of November 14th, 2016 to April 4th, 2023. Now, there's no PII or personally identifiable information exposed in this, but if somebody did log in without the password and knew the VIN number of a vehicle, they would have been able to access location and potentially video data for that vehicle over that period of time. So, kind of a big whoops on Toyota. They're going to be sending out more information and contacting each of those customers that were impacted by that. Just to be clear, it was exposed. There is no evidence that it was actually breached, but still, the fact that there was an exposure of that magnitude is still headline worthy. Now, for our discussion, we're talking a little bit about app fatigue, right? So, to me, there's three primary ways that app fatigue can put companies at risk, and we could probably find others as well, but I'm going to talk about three big ones. One, employees begin ignoring updates. When digital alerts interrupt your work, you always feel like you're behind, which leads to ignoring small tasks that don't seem as time sensitive. Tasks like clicking to install an app update. Employees overwhelmed with too many app alerts tend to ignore them. So when updates come up, they quickly click them away and dismiss them. They might even feel that they can't spare the time right now and aren't sure how long it will take, which is a very valid concern. But ignoring app updates on a device is dangerous, right? Many of those updates include important security patches for found vulnerabilities. And when they're not installed, the device and potentially its network are at much higher risk. It becomes much easier to suffer a successful cyber attack when you have those vulnerabilities present on your system. Number two, employees reuse passwords. And guess what? They're often weak. Another security casualty of app fatigue is password security. The more SaaS accounts someone must create, the more likely they are to reuse passwords. It's estimated that passwords are typically reused 64% of the time. This is despite years and years of professionals saying use password manager, use a unique password for every system. Still, 64% of the time they're reused. Credential breach is the key driver of cloud data breaches. Hackers can easily crack weak passwords. If you use the same password several times, it leaves many accounts at risk. If a hacker cracks one account, or those credentials are exposed in a breach, potentially any other account on any other system or app that uses the same email and password, guess what? Those are at risk. Number 3, employees might turn off alerts. Some alerts are okay to turn off. For example, do you really need to know every time someone responds to a group thread? Maybe, maybe not, depending on the thread and your job responsibilities. Do you need to get notified when they @name you, right? When they tag you specifically in the thread? Probably. But turning off important security alerts is not a good idea. There comes a breaking point when one more push notification can push someone over the edge. They might turn off all the alerts they can across all apps, right? Not only do they have app fatigue of so many apps, now they've got alert fatigue, and their answer is just turn them all off. And the problem with this is that in the mix of alerts are important ones, such as an anti-malware app warning about a newly found virus. So these are the 3 main problems, but what's the answer? All right, what's the answer to app fatigue? Because these apps are not going away anytime soon. 1, it's important to streamline your business applications. From both a productivity and security standpoint, fewer apps are better. The fewer apps you have, the less risk you have. Also, the fewer passwords to remember and the fewer notifications to address. Look at the tools that you use to see where redundancies may be. Many companies are using 2 or more apps that can do the same function. So another thing you can do is consider using an umbrella platform like Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. These platforms include several work tools, but users only need a single login to access them. Number 2, have your IT team set up notifications. It's difficult for users to know what type of notifications are the most important. So set up app notifications for them. Have your IT team set them up for them, right? This ensures that the users are not getting bombarded with alerts, but are getting the important ones. And 3, automate application updates. A cybersecurity best practice is to automate device and software updates. This takes the process out of employees' hands. You don't need them to take time out of their day to click that update button and wait for it. It enhances productivity by removing those from their view and automating it through your IT team automation. Automating device updates improves security as well. It mitigates the chance that there's going to be a vulnerable app putting your network at risk. And then finally, open a 2-way communication about alerts. Employees may never turn off an alert because they're afraid they might get in trouble. Managers may not even realize constant app alert interruptions are hurting productivity. So communicate with your team, communicate with your employees, let them know that they can talk with you about this, how they can use alerts effectively, as well as the best ways of managing those alerts for a better, more productive workday. It's easy for tools to get out of hand. If you need some help consolidating and optimizing your cloud app environment, or even identifying what apps you're using, let us know. Send me a message. I'd love to chat with you about it. We definitely have some solutions for you to be able to identify and help streamline operations around your app fatigue. Webinar reminder yesterday, hopefully you guys caught it, our live stream webinar on incident response. We had Sophos with us. It was great. If you were not able to catch it live, make sure you catch the recording on our social media channels, YouTube, or on our website. Next month in June, our free educational live stream is going to be on the 18th, and we're going to be discussing Zero Trust with Todyl, T-O-D-Y-L. So be sure to check our social media for more information as we come up to that important live stream on Zero Trust with Todyl. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will be back live next week. If you have any other questions, you can always direct message me or reach out to us on our website at itnet.works. Thank you. Have a good one.